The Woman Who Invented Windshield Wipers, Mary Anderson and Her Wonderful Invention, by Sarah L. Latta. Part 1. Can you imagine a car without windshield wipers? They are so important to help drivers see the road in rain and snow. A Southern Life. When it rains or snows, drivers turn on their windshield wipers. They wipe rain, snow, and sleet so that drivers can see clearly. Imagine a car without windshield wipers. As a matter of fact, the earliest automobiles had no windshield at all. The first car windshield, introduced in 1904, could be folded down if it became so dirty that drivers could not see through it. The only way to clean the glass was to wipe it by hand. The Land of Dreams. Mary Anderson was born on February 19, 1866 in Alabama, USA. She was the daughter of plantation owners. Mary's father died when she was just 4 years old. Her mother managed the plantation and took care of Mary and her sister Fanny. Mary Anderson had a great sense of adventure. In 1893, when she was 27, she moved to Fresno, California. Many young women of her time took jobs like teaching, but not Anderson. She ran a cattle ranch and vineyard. A Surprise Treasure. Anderson stayed in Fresno just 5 years. She then moved back to Alabama to take care of her sick aunt. The aunt moved into their house with her 17 large trunks. The aunt insisted on keeping all the trunks in her room. Once a week, she asked Mary to open the trunks so that Auntie may look by herself. There was just one rule. Anderson had to do it with her eyes closed. When the auntie died a few years later, Anderson and her family looked inside the mysterious trunks. They were filled with gold, jewels, and other treasures. Anderson, her mother, and sister shared the auntie's fortune. A Snow Day in New York City. In the winter of 1902 or 1903, Mary Anderson used some of her money to visit New York City. One cold and snowy day, Anderson was riding an electric streetcar. There was so much to see. Anderson was surprised with the sights of the big city, but there was one thing that bothered her. The snow piled up on the windshields of the streetcars. This made it impossible for the streetcar drivers to see outside. She noticed that the drivers often had to stop, get out, and clean the windows by hand. The drivers had only two choices. They could keep the windshield down, letting the cold snow in, or they could lean out of the window to clear the glass. Either way, the driver, and sometimes the passengers, got cold and wet. End of part 1.